Hello, writers, illustrators, and authors. We're going to talk about marketing yourself before your book is out or your contract is signed. My name is Bitsy Kemper. I'm presenting this to you because of my background. I have 20 years experience in combined with marketing and children's literature. I worked at Intel for a long time. I did product marketing. I did corporate marketing. For a while, I co-wrote a nationally syndicated newspaper column, so I actually marketed myself while I worked there. When I left Intel, I did consulting work, small businesses and writers, helping writers market themselves. And as the kid lit industry is concerned, I have 21 award-winning books. Actually, I just have one that's an award winner, but it sounds better when I say it like that. I'm a big fan and longtime member of SCBWI. If you do not know what that is, stop what you're doing, write it down, Google it later. But dude, you have to know what SCBWI is if you are in the kid lit industry. I was a regional advisor for a long time, and there's a lot of resources there. And I've presented conferences and author visits from New York to California. Today, we're going to talk about planning ahead for that marketing, 4 steps to do that, and then along the way. I have an asterisk there that's just saying that this is my information, it's proprietary, and please don't steal it. If you're going to use it or quote it, please give me attribution. Who needs to hear this? If there are pre-published people here, listen. If you're under contract, listen. If you already have books out there, this is all for you. Everybody that's anybody should be thinking about ways to market themselves. We're gonna talk about building a platform, being the best you, offering something for free, and brainstorming in the near future. Building a platform. Some of you might be clenching right now because you don't know what an author platform is, or you're concerned that it's too hard, or you just don't want to have anything to do with it. Well, that's kind of too bad because you're going to have to. An author platform, writer platform, I use the term synonymously. Defined by Writer's Digest, it's your visibility as an author, utilizing your personal ability to sell books through who you are, the connections you have, and the media outlets you use. Okay, I have one word that describes it. Anyone want to guess what that word is? Branding. It's branding. An author platform is just branding, but it might not be the branding you are thinking of. It's branding of you, not your title, not your book. It's branding of you as a person. The thing is, you're going to be more than your book someday, right? You're going to have another book. Why would you want to align yourself too closely to that one book and then have to reinvent yourself all over again? Why be the apple when you can be the tree, right? Be the tree. You want to brand yourself as the tree with all these many things to offer, as opposed to just this one thing. So think big. As far as author branding is concerned, another way to think of it is immediately, if somebody looks at you, thinks of you, accesses your information in any way, how do they know, what do they understand? What's their first impression, right? We all know how important first impressions are. Okay, so I use my example of me a lot, not because I think my examples are better than anybody, it's just because I'm lazy, maybe. It's just that I know me. So I use examples of mine a bunch. If you look at my banner on a lot of things, my tagline, worth reading, you know that I'm a writer. Underneath that, Lori Mortensen. Would you like to guess what she does? Children's author. You just come right out and say it. To the right of that, that's my Twitter. Kind of nice. What do you see? First place. Thank you. And that's there because that's setting a tone, right? Right away, you see book awards, first place. You have a better impression of me, don't you? I hope you do. Because that, if you see nothing else, if you read nothing else, no other tweet of mine, I think you get me, right? Down below, I love this. This is Angelica Jackson's. This is off of her website. It says, stories through a fantastical lens. The reason I love this and it's so clever, Angelica is an author and she is a photographer. So, stories through a fantastic lens. She also has written fantasy stories. See what she did there? So very clever way of describing who she is. You get it right away. Looking on the left. Now, I hope Struggling Writer is not here. And if you are, I'm not picking on you. I'm giving you the opportunity to change something just a little bit to enhance that very first impression. So, okay, so Struggling Writer, the picture they have is what? I mean, like what? I don't know. I'm really asking a question. I don't know what it is. I don't know how that has anything to do with writing. So there's an opportunity missed right there. Because I don't know what that tells me about Struggling Writer. The tagline, the bio, Struggling Writer, just a person with a day job trying to write something people will enjoy. Perhaps I will fail miserably, but why not give it a shot? Okay, that's cute. I mean, it's nice. It gives his personality. I assume it's a him. What's missing there is confidence. If he doesn't believe in himself and his writing, why would I? I mean, perhaps I'll fail miserably. Why not give it a shot? If he just twisted that just a little bit, that says, there's a chance I might fail miserably, but there's no way I'll let that happen, or not on my watch, or something that gives confidence in himself, that will give me confidence in him, that will leave me with a better impression. Erin Deely, this is her website. Guess what she does? You don't have to read a thing. Bam, there's her books. On the right-hand side, in a blackboard. You know she's been around since blackboards were around instead of whiteboards, but that's pretty cool. So you know it has to do with education, classrooms. Erin Deely writes, teacher, author, preschooler. Erin plays with words. Haiku, huh? So yeah, you get the feeling Erin's writing's a little bit elevated, right? A little bit more. Down at the bottom, she mentions children's author, but I don't think she would even need that. Patricia Newman. What do you think here? You get her right away too. Your eye goes from her name right to her face, engaging. You see the earth there with kids holding hands, people holding hands. So you have you know that it's going to be earth friendliness. Her tagline, empowering young readers to act. A little bit of activism there. It might be, being eco-friendly, whatever, but if you see the pictures behind her, maybe it has something to do with endangered species, maybe endangered animals. But you get a lot just from here. If you spent 1 second flipping through websites, you get her, right? She's building her platform. Here is a Twitter banner and bio. If you didn't read anything here, you see J.D. Silverwood, you see the logo. You're going to realize he doesn't write YA. He doesn't write anything racy. He doesn't, right? He's going to write children's books, fun children's books. I'm also going to guess, based on the banner photo, probably, I don't know, something fantastical, something, there's a boy, must be on the moon looking at the earth. So maybe something hopeful, maybe a little scary, not really sure. First impression, at least. Then it does say picture book writer, reader. It gives you information. But I find this engaging, and I think those two, just that picture and the banner, says a lot about JD. social media is what the majority of your author platform is going to be. Okay, so author platform means platform, right? Something that you stand on to be above the crowd. Social media is one of the ways that you can be above the crowd trying to get some attention. It doesn't mean you're on stage. It's not author stage, it's author platform. It's just rising yourself a little bit to make it through the noise. Facebook, obviously, I mean, there's lots, there's podcasts, there's YouTube, there's all kinds of ways besides this. These are just the top ones that I think of when I think of social media. Facebook, you have two opportunities. You have your personal account, and you can have your author or your writer or your illustrator page. It can be separate from that. It's like a fan page. Not something you have to do, something to consider doing. Personally, if I know somebody as a person and then they open up a author page, I feel like their author page is going to be a buy my book page. So I'm less likely to go there. So it kind of depends on how you spin your author page or where you are in your authorness, in your writerly career when you start that author page. Okay. Twitter, 145 million active daily users. Dude, so many people. So there's so much noise. It is like one huge party going on all night long. The good thing with Twitter is short and sweet. You can just pop your head in and close the door, go back to bed or eating Cheetos, whatever you're doing. Twitter, you can just pop in and see what's going on. You have an opportunity, I like to call your brush with greatness. Lots of times, you know, a famous person will at you back if you include them in something that you're doing. Typically, you have to be at the right place at the right time with Twitter, like that party aspect. If something big went on and you were in the bathroom or, you know, you were in the kitchen, you were somewhere else during the party when something happened, you can find out by checking out the hashtag, follow along, see what happened. It's not too bad to still react to it the next day, to still tag along and say, hey, saw this, or just react as if it had just happened. That's not so bad. A little better if you were there at the time. But there's so much going on, you can't always be there. So just know with Twitter, it's hit or miss, and have fun with that. Don't worry about always being there all the time. Instagram, very visual, a lot fewer words. I find it less personally interactive. Huge for illustrators because it's so visual. A lot less interaction, I find. You might find it very interactive. Blog or website, I use those terms interchangeably. Fantastic tool. Great, excellent, perfect way, because you're in complete control of creating your author platform with your own website. The trick is getting people there. I've heard editors and agents say that about 10,000 hits a month is what it might take to impress. I don't have 10,000 hits a month. I'm not a New York Times bestseller yet, but bear in mind, if you want to talk about how much traffic you get on your website, those are big numbers you need to reach. So when you're creating your writer platform, you want to let people know you, the real you, right? You're building your brand, not your book. You are standing on that platform so that people will interact with you, okay? Everything you do when you're up there on that platform becomes public. People are going to comment on, they might comment, but people are going to be able to access pretty much for all times. Even if you delete it, somebody may have screenshotted it, who knows? Just be aware. You already know this. I would say be consistent. You don't want to have people wondering, gee, I wonder which version of this person is going to show up today, right? I always say when you're at conferences, wear the same kind of thing, like always wear polka dots or always have a scarf, some kind of a crazy scarf. Wear bright green glasses, oh, I was in one of the bright green glasses. Do something that makes you memorable consistently. Email, use the same font, same email signature consistently on your website, your Twitter bio, everywhere. Have that same tagline if you have one. I've heard recommendations if you are going to use Instagram for quotes, for example, if you're going to use somebody else's quotes and create your own graphic for them, to use the same color palette, same font, so people start to recognize and associate that with you. To me, that's above and beyond. I don't have time for that, but it's actually a really good recommendation. I think when you're working on your website, you need to separate your day job from your work, your writer life. Let's say you don't write full time. You're a real estate agent by day and a writer by night. Maybe the other way around, because both work all day, every day. So on your website, you'd want to create what's called a splash page that says, welcome to, Wanda DeJohn's website. Click here for real estate information. Click here for information on books. That way it's the same you, it's unified, same font, same everything. You still want the same colors and same fonts when you click to those different pages, but you're making it clear that there are two different versions. If you are a children's book author, I don't care that you write real estate, so I don't want that on your author website. I mean, unless the book you're writing has to do with real estate, that doesn't matter to me, so don't cloud that version. If you're a real estate agent, I might want to know that you're a children's book author, but is that going to help you sell houses better? Again, there could be instances, but do you see why you want to keep them separate? As you're creating your writer platform, right here, you're going to interact more and more, creating your brand with fellow writers, your writing community. You want to interact with them genuinely. You want to get out there more. You can do it online, you can do it in person by conferences or critique groups. But you want to do it in a way that makes them want to engage back with you. It's a great idea to follow others in the industry and start researching influencers in your field, especially if you're a nonfiction writer or an illustrator. See where people you admire are spending time, which social media platforms they're using. See how effective their interactions are. I mean, you want to be one of them too, right? So see how they're doing it. Agent Hope Bollinger said that the reason they're asking for platforms is because if an agent or an editor already knows that you can reach readers, it's that much easier for them to help get readers your book. She's saying that your book may be amazing, but unless she knows you or is immediately drawn to the premise of your book, she'll never know. She'll have no idea about how amazing you are if you haven't all. It's kind of a catch-22. You don't have to have 25,000 friends, but the bigger and the better, more consistent you are with your author platform, the easier it is going to be for your agent to see, your editor to see that you're a solid person that's worth taking a chance on. You already have a built-in audience. There's different ways, right? There's proactive, there's reactive. So let's say, for example, I am posting on Facebook. I've just written B is for B. It's coming out, and I've said, hey, B is for B. Just wrote this book. Isn't it great? That's proactive. I'm the one presenting. There's reactive. Somebody else has written something about honeycombs, and I can say, wow, that is so interesting. I had no idea that could happen. That's reactive. The sweet spot for you, for us, right here is this interactive space. You want to be as interactive as you can be, because that's where the engagement, that's where the magic happens, right? The proactive, hey, I just wrote this book. How about, interesting thing about bees is, find out more on my book. Did you know that blah, blah, blah? Ask a question. Don't just say buy my book. Reactive, hey, I never knew that about honeycombs. That's so interesting. Where did you learn that? Interactive. See the difference? Engagement. Okay. Different ways that you can get engagement, that interaction. Studies have shown that videos, huge way to get more engagement on Facebook. As writers, illustrators, we don't really have a great method for that. There could be a book trailer that you have a video for. I find that a little salesy. So video might not be as lucrative, as viable for us, but look at the photos, right? Look at how much more interactive the photos are when you include a photo in your Facebook or your tweet. How more interactive. Have you noticed that? If you've included a photo, have you had more interaction on your tweets or your Facebook? I think you have. You might not have noticed, but you have. Very interesting for me here, this Facebook links. You see why that has more interaction than photos? To me, also Twitter, they're neck and neck. Now they include, if you include a link, there's usually a photo. It shows a preview of the website that it's going to. So I think that's one of the reasons that it gets even more interaction, because you're saying something about the link and then you're including it. So that's even more interactive. I'm not going to read all these to you, but basically what it's saying is there's no one proven formula. There's no one line in the sand that you have to jump across to have the perfect author platform. But you have to have one. It's the most effective way to do it. You have to do it early. Once your book is out there, you can't just stop. I'll give you just a little bit more time. You want to read through the rest of those? My website, again, it's just because this is what I know. If you Google how to create an author platform, you'll have 100 different hits. But there's plenty of ways to find more information, more detail on how to create an effective author platform. That's just one way. Okay. 1B, being the best you and proud of it. How is that going to help you market yourself? Being the best you. Kindness. Okay. Kindness. Being the best you. You might be an a-hole. I don't know you. I don't know, you could be. But that doesn't mean you can't be on your best behavior. Just like when you get dressed for church, right? You're not wearing your everyday clothes. If you go to meet your significant other's parents, you're going to be on your best behavior. You're going to be acting a little bit, I hope, kinder or gentler. You're going to be presenting yourself in your best form. That's what you need to do online. That's how you're going to create, that's how you're going to be marketing yourself, creating your brand to the best of your ability. You need to be kind, just like, I mean, I can't believe I have to say this to people, but you never say anything online that you wouldn't say something to somebody's face. Okay? Make an effort to compliment people. Stay genuine. Nobody likes a kiss. Yeah, nobody likes that. People can tell, right? If they're being fake or they're just blowing smoke, you know that. They know that. Just don't waste time. Be genuine. Be positive. If you're getting super frustrated that somebody else is out marketing you or getting their book to market faster, dude, just stay positive, okay? Because the bottom line is the more successful somebody else's book is, that means the industry is going to be doing better, and that means we're all going to be more successful, right? A rising tide lifts all boats. So stay positive, be happy. If you can't be happy for other people, just think of it in terms of being happy for the industry, okay? More detail about putting your best self online, right? When you're creating your bio, you don't have to give a laundry list of everything, but include stuff that is important to your brand, to who you are. As far as interaction, okay, so we talked about engagement. Interestingly, the more likes or comments that are posted to, let's say, your website, the higher your website is going to show up on a Google search. Cool, right? Because Google has figured out, oh, this must be something important. This must be somebody big. Therefore, it's going to be a higher priority. So the more interactions you can get, the higher up you're going to show on a Google search. Talked about thinking visually, asking questions in your posts. Specifically, would, should, or which tend to get the highest number of responses. Don't be afraid to ask people to retweet. These statistics are from fan pages, like famous people, so take them with a grain of salt. But interestingly, these top up here, when they were asked to like or asked to retweet or asked to comment, people were 3 to 7 times more likely to do what that person asked. Again, these were famous people and you want to make a famous person happy. But bear in mind, your friends want to make you happy too, right? So try to do that. Try to make it so that, yeah, sorry, I just got a message. Try to make it so that you can do that. I guess I have lost my camera, but I think we're still going. Yeah. Being the best to your content expertise. All right, nonfiction writers, this is for you. Illustrators, woohoo, this is your moment. You want to tie yourself to something bigger than your book title, okay? Think big, as in think bigger umbrella, okay? Consider being the go-to person for something to drive people to your website. It's free publicity. So let's say, yeah, you have a picture book. Yeah, B is for B. You just came out with this book and it has a B on it. Well, consider becoming an apiculturist. You know what that is? Fancy word. Thank you. It means beekeeper. So look at it being a beekeeper. Befriend farmers markets, right? Don't walk up to everyone at the farmers market. Hey, I see you sell corn. You want to buy my book about bees? No, that's not what I'm saying. Maybe eventually you can set up a table and sell at the farmers market where you've just made friends. But get there later. Start small. Does your main character recycle? Does your main character live in the ocean? Become an eco-zealot, right? I mean, go whole hog on the environment. if that interests you. Okay, are you an ace at Canva, right? I created this in Canva. I could have used your help. Are you great at Scrivener? Writers can never figure out Scrivener. They're always looking for help there. Maybe you have a knack for naming main characters. I mean, there's some skill you probably have. Create a tutorial for writers. Maybe that's your angle. Maybe that's your expertise. Even if you don't have anything expert level now, you can get there. You can join clubs, nonprofits, fundraisers. But here's the thing. Okay, have it in bold, purple. You have to put the time and research to get the experience to be the expert, okay? You can't just slap a name tag on and say, hey, I'm an expert. Ask me, okay? That's just gonna ruin your reputation. That's gonna set a really bad precedence, and you're gonna lose readers before you're even in print. So don't call yourself an expert unless you are. Why do I suggest you become an expert? I'll tell you why. Because it gives you instant credibility, especially if you are working on a story right now. Let's say you're pitching that B is for B story. And I think it's going to help you if you happen to be an apiculturist, if you happen to be a beekeeper. That's going to help your credibility when it comes to writing a book about bees, even if it's nonfiction. A content expert defines who you are as far as your brand. It's easier to get you topic interviews on radio, TV, blogs. Those friends in organizations and clubs are built-in potential readers and buyers, right? Those friends you just made. It also gives you greater opportunities for conferences and places to do book signings. So you're not just going to be looking at writer conferences, but you can be looking at beekeeping conferences in that instance. There's also more social media opportunities. Okay, here's more bright purple warning, warning, warning. I'm never ever suggesting that you work up and say, hi, I'm an expert, buy my book. No, 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 no. What the purpose for this is, it's the soft sell. It's so when someone is introducing you, they can say, joining us is Wanda Dijon, author of the upcoming book, B is for Bee. You just happen to have a copy of that book that you hold up on the screen, or if it's online, you just happen to have a link that goes direct to your website. You happen to have a screenshot that you provide. All of this is the very, very softest way to say, my book is worth buying. If they like you, they're going to want to know more about you, and they're going to be much more likely to look into buying your book. Okay. Offering something for free. It doesn't have to cost you a penny, believe it or not. You can give away stuff that costs you zero. You can give away information. Learn how to make a wax candle out of beeswax. You know what I mean. You can give away other people's books. You probably have writer friends, or your editors or agents probably have copies sitting on their desks that they want to get rid of. See if they'll give them to you. Create classroom activity guides, word searches, experiments. Teachers love that. You can give away ARCs, advanced reader copies. I like to keep mine. My son happens to love ARCs. He likes to keep them in case the writer gets famous someday. He has that early edition. You can give away a free Skype visit. It's free to you. Please, I'm not advocating free author visits. That's a whole nother topic. I'm begging you, do not do free author visits. That devalues us as an industry, but 1 15-minute free Skype visit will not hurt anybody, and it will help you. You can give away free content, okay? This content doesn't have to be yours. You can round up other people's information, be a one-stop shop. You can do some investigative reporting and get some hot off the press information. You can do how-to videos. Okay, this is a great idea. Okay, so of course, I use me as an example. I have a how-to video for it's like 8 tips in 8 minutes. It's for beginner picture book writers, and YouTube is still growing and growing. And the reason this is impressive as far as a creative idea is because visual learners tend to remember 75% of what they see. Auditory learners recall 75% of what they hear, okay? Not everybody likes to learn or pay attention to what they read. They don't want to just scroll through blog posts and tweets. Not everybody does. So a video might be your ticket to getting exposure, attention, and build your brand. Here's an example of a website that just did a fantastic job of listing editors and is it just agencies? Yeah. Literary agencies and agents that accept picture book queries or manuscripts or illustrations. I mean, this is fantastic. I'm going to come back to this website again and again, right? It's great. Here's a website right here, editor resources. That's what this tab is. Fantastic. Look, she has teacher guides. She has STEM and literacy activities. She's got interviews with noteworthy authors and illustrators. And she's got links. She's got guest blogs that highlight the connection between STEM and language arts. I mean, this is fantastic for educated resources. People are going to keep coming back again and again because there's so much here. She offers writer resources as well. I mean, it's a super great way for people to come back again and again. Are you asking why? Why in your right freaking mind would you do all this work to give it away for free? Honk, honk. Traffic. You are going to bring all the boys to the yard. You are going to get people coming back. You know, that website, that both those websites that we saw, how cool is all that information, all those resources? You're going to come back. People are going to return to you if you offer great free information. That helps with your brand recognition. They're associating you not only with free information, they're associating you with valuable information, and they're associating you with knowledge, with expertise. All of this, ideally, is going to lead to potential sales. Not only that, you have an opportunity for email lists, for building your email list. If you create a click here to get a free activity guide on how to make a candle from beeswax, then you have a built-in audience of people you absolutely positively know are your target market, right? It's fantastic. You already have it. You already got the work done. You already have that email list. Now, I'm not saying you use them and you bombard them with buy my book, but you have access to people that you can reach out to. Hey, I also have this. You want to bring people back to your website again and again. You can send them a teaser on your book. Hey, I'm excited. Here's the book cover. Maybe you just contact your people once a year saying, hey, just wanted to thank you for being on my mailing list. I hope you've enjoyed my content. And you give a list of more free resources that you have. You don't have to have an email list. You don't have to have content to send out on your email list, but it is one very effective way to up your author platform. Okay. Brainstorming the near future. Dude, here, I could spend 45 minutes on every single one of these. Okay. Bloggers. You, right now, if you haven't already, need to research bloggers, kidlit bloggers, you know, in the example of the bee, you know, people in the bee industry. friends of yours that have blogs, anybody and everybody, mommy bloggers, anybody that might be a potential reader or buyer of your book. You need to find out what their deadlines are, what their formats are, what graphics they need, what form they're going to need it in. And as you're contacting them now, for example, that's also a form of marketing. You're saying, hey, I see that you have this blog. I'd love to be a guest blogger. Or, hey, any chance I could be profiled, or we could work out something together. Even if that connection doesn't work, it's still marketing. You've still made a connection of some sort. Your local media, local TV stations, newspapers. Are there any book reviewers in your town newspaper? Local websites, radio, magazines. The thing with local media that you need to bear in mind and you need to be thinking of now is each station, for example, let's say TV station, they're going to want a slightly different angle. Like ABC News isn't going to do a story on how to make a beeswax candle if Fox News just did it. Okay, so you need to figure out some other way to get on the other station. Maybe you are talking about how to eat a honeycomb. So it's something, just do something else to get on the other stations. Bookstores, please tell me you're spending time in your local bookstores, the indies. Let's see where you might be able to lead a session, right? Sorry about that. You want to spend your time in your local bookstores, get to know their shelving, right? Where's your book going to be? Not because you're going to tell them anything about, you're not going to boss them around, but you want to get a feel for where your book is going to be placed. You want to get a feel for what kind of events they have. So let's say you want to have a cocktail party. You don't go to a bookstore that can't sell alcohol, right? You don't embarrass yourself. Don't pitch that idea to a bookstore that the event's not going to be able to happen. Another idea I have, see this here, what bookstores do you frequent at in-laws? I love this idea. All right. You are going to be going on vacation, let's say to your in-laws. How many times a year? Once a year? Maybe you go to the same cabin every year over the summer. There's probably a location that you return to again and again. Why not check out their bookstores? Why not see if you can do a book signing there? Why not? You're there all the time anyways, or, consistently. They might not know you by name. They may not ever remember seeing you, but it's familiar to you, right? You're going to be there. Why not ask? There's other publications. This is, again, like the bee industry one. Bear in mind, let's say there's a bee monthly, okay? Magazines tend to have a 6-month lead time, so you can't contact bee monthly in January for your February release. If you have a February release, you need to contact them probably August. Author visits, you already know that. You need to figure all that stuff out. Okay, your branding, your author Amazon page, right? What do you want to say? How are you going to say it? Make sure it's going to fit your author branding, right? Who you are. Use the same kind of words, the same kind of verbiage, the same personality. Goodreads, you have 2 chances there. You have an author profile and you have a reader profile. So you can merge the two when you're published, but if you have a reader profile now, you, again, might have an opportunity to talk to those friends about your book when it comes out. Conferences, I mentioned that before. You might be able to lead sessions now that you're a published author, especially at local events. Maybe write on con next year. Book trailer, consider it. Do you want one? Do you need one? Do you want to split it with your illustrator? If you're the illustrator, do you want to split it with your author? Do you need one? Maybe you don't, but now is when you need to research the cost, the time, the effort. If you're asking your friend, let's say you've seen a great book trailer and you want to ask them how they did it, that's author platform billing, that's still, you're branding yourself, you're creating contacts, you're having interactions. So even if you decide not to do one, that's not time lost. And of course, your book launch. Yeah, that I don't. Okay. Along the way, don't forget to say thank you. A handwritten note goes a long way as far as author branding and getting your name out there, marketing yourself. This is going to leave a good taste in your mouth. This is going to make people have a really nice impression of you. The more people like you, the more likely they're going to want to look into your book, which means the more likely they're going to want to buy it. If you were a jerk to them, if you were brusque, if you were in any way offensive, this is an opportunity to apologize. Maybe you say, I didn't realize I was short-tempered, whatever. But if you were unfriendly along your journey, none of these people are going to want to write your, or are going to want to read or purchase your book. So since you've befriended them, if they've helped you in any way, be sure to personally thank them. Remember to invest in yourself. Experts always keep learning or they stop becoming experts, right? So keep attending conferences, stay current on trends and technology. You want to keep honing that craft of yours. And when you need help, go easy on yourself, okay? Take breaks. Reward small accomplishments, okay? Maybe you get 3 things done, then you take a break and you go for a walk. Or maybe you get 3 things done and you have a cocktail. I might have 2, but you know, just reward yourself. You're working really hard. And if you feel like you're not seeing any results, it's okay, because it's a long run. There's no such thing as an overnight success. There really isn't. You just have to put your time in. So, you know, give yourself a hug now and then. I do have some homework for you here. I'm going to ask you to pick one platform that you can improve on, one aspect of your author platform that you can improve on. Maybe that's dedicate yourself to Twitter. Maybe that's for a week, or maybe that's figure out Instagram. Just do one improvement and pick one person to thank. When you've done that, go back and do another one. Okay? This week, dude, I'm not kidding. This week, I want you to pick, I want you to make one improvement in your author platform. I want you to pick one person to thank this week, okay? It's a bunch of references here. I couldn't possibly include everything, resources that are helpful to you, but there's a bunch out there. You know this already, right? That thing called Google that you could check if you have a specific question. If you are clenched and about to cry because you're thinking you're never going to get this done, that you have too much work to do, just remember, done is better than perfect. I love that concept. How do you run a marathon? One step at a time. So do what you can, the best you can. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. Just get what you can done. A shameless self-promotion here. If you need a session leader, if you have anything around coming up or next year, I have lots of presentations that I can present for you. Effective websites, social media, presentation skills for introverts. I have a very fun writing children's books. It's harder than you think. It's like a Kidlit 101, how to. Questions? Okay. What is the ratio? I have a question here. What is the ratio we should shoot for of time spent marketing to time spent writing? Ooh, okay, I love that question because it is impossible to answer. I'm going to answer when it feels right, because you could very easily spend more time marketing yourself and then you don't do any writing, and that's an excuse. Okay, so you don't want to give yourself an excuse to stop writing. If you have the choice between marketing yourself or writing, you have to look at what is the thing that you're marketing. Okay, what's the ROI on the thing that you're about to do? If you want to send an email list, maybe you have that email list and you want to send out an email to your people that you have signed up on your list. Do you have to do it now, for example? Is that something that can wait till later? The next question I have here is, should I start building a platform before I finish my manuscript? Thank you for asking that, because the answer to that is in capital letters, YES. Yes, it's never too soon to start establishing yourself as a professional. If somebody Googles your name at any point in your writing career, I'd love for them to know who you are, because you're a person, right? You're branding yourself. You're a person. Let people know who you are. Let's see. The next question. Where should you start a Facebook page based on where you are in your career? Oh, yeah. When do you suggest starting an author Facebook page? I think an author Facebook page should happen when you have so many people bombarding your personal web page that you get uncomfortable talking about your child's recital, or sharing where you had breakfast, or you don't want them to know where you're on vacation. When it starts becoming invasive, or it starts becoming uncomfortable, or the numbers start to be overwhelming, that's when you need to make the shift. Another question. How do you find the people to target for author visits? You know, I'm going to hand you off to SCBWI on that. Your local chapter of SCBWI should be a good resource for you there, because that is going to depend on where you live. Schools, for the most part, you're going to have to build your own database. I don't think any SCBWI has a running list of who to contact and when, but that is putting your feet on the pavement, pounding that pavement, and getting the word out that you're ready to go. Okay. Okay, I think that is all the time we have for questions. I would love for you guys to have made some progress after learning these tips. You can contact me directly if you have questions. I'll do my best to answer them. I can't, for example, give you a list of people to target for author visits. Like, that's not the level of help I can offer you, but I can answer simple questions. And I'd love for you to follow me on Facebook or Twitter. And I thank you for listening this long. I wish you the very best in your marketing efforts. You're going to slay it. Bye.